So, this is a video tutorial for Spaghetti CAD. Spaghetti CAD is a new CAD software designed for 3D printing, but it can do other things as well. It's designed to be very easy to use, very intuitive to use, but it's also very capable. And in fact, we have quite a bit of features that no one else has. And it's really so easy to use that even kids can use it, and you know how stupid kids are these days. So this is what it looks like. You have a taskbar at the top and you have shapes on the left. As you see, the shapes are 3D shapes. We don't really do 2D sketches. I think they're stupid. But we do 2D sketches only in one exception, and that's really just because someone annoying on the team insisted that we use 2D sketches. But yeah, 3D shapes are just better to start out with. You can see we have quite an extensive collection of shapes. We will get to those in a second. But I'm just going to click on a shape here, and it's going to spawn on the grid. And let's just go over the basics very quickly. So you get a menu here or a pop-up that has a color palette. You can choose the colors. The last color is called a hole, and this is a special color that's useful for Boolean operations. We will see it later. You have three check boxes here. You have transparent. It makes the shape transparent. It makes the color transparent. You have key symmetry. Key symmetry locks the length and the width together. So if I change the dimensions, either with the dimensions box here or with the handles here, they're locked together. If I unclick it, I can move the shapes independent. I can change the dimensions independently. And finally, there is multicolor. We will get to this later. Here you have a hide object, and to unhide it you click here. And finally, this here is just a lock to lock the shape, so you cannot do changes to it accidentally. Below the dimensions box here you have a coordinates box, and you can use it to move the shape in addition to dragging it with the mouse. So with the mouse like this, while holding the left click, you can move it like so. And if you hold this arrow here, you can move it up and down. So now I'm going to add a second shape. I'm going to add a cylinder, and I'm going to give it the special color that we talked about, the hole. And I'm going to combine the two shapes together. We call combining here, we call it couple or coupling. This is the first function on the taskbar too. So to select both shapes, I will left click on my screen, and I will drag the mouse to draw this square, and now both shapes are selected, and I will simply click couple, and it has coupled the two shapes together. And to undo this, I can click decouple. And yeah, and if I'm going to give it a different color now, I'm going to make it yellow, and then I'm going to combine them together. So you see, when you combine or when you couple the shapes, they will get the same color, and the color is determined by which shape was chosen first. But if you click multicolor, then each shape reverts back to its original color. And now I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to add two more shapes here to show you the next function, and that's the align function. So if you click here, you will get these 9 dots for 3 different axes. And if they are grayed out like this, it means that they're already aligned. So very easy to use, very intuitive to use. So there is that. Next, I'm going to show you the mirror function. So if you click it here, you can see. Again, I don't want to waste time on basic things. Next function is the array of the pattern. Again, this just lets you place the objects into a specific pattern. You can change the count, you can change the spacing across all three axes. And not only that, but you can also go for a circular array. And with a circular array, this is useful for making bolt patterns. So see here, and here you choose the radius. And it has a checkbox here. It's called include original, which is unchecked by default. That's because usually when you're making a bolt pattern, you don't want a bolt directly in the center, but if for some reason you do, then you can click it. You notice that the count, the number reduced by 1, that's because we started to count from the center, so that's why. Next function is the define pivot point. So I'm going to add a cylinder here. So when you want to rotate an object in CAD, usually it will rotate around its center. So in case of this cylinder, you can see here, you cannot really tell that it's rotating. But if you're designing hinges and other things that where they will be rotating around a different point rather than the center, then you can use this function. It's called define pivot point, and you see when I click it, we'll get these three different cylinders here. I'm going to click on one of them. Each one represents an axis, and I'm going to use my keyboard arrows to move it, and then I'm going to click enter, and now it's going to rotate in that axis around the newly defined pivot point instead of the center. So this is useful for modeling various things. Next function is measure. Again, simple, easy to use. Nothing really to explain. If you hold the shift key, it will make it into a straight line. And if you click enter after drawing it, then you cannot select it and it will not get in the way. So you can have shapes around it and it will not get in the way. And to remove it, you simply just double click it. Next function is the scale function. This is essentially identical to what you have in 3D printing slicers. It's different than the key symmetry that we talked about before in that it has a width, length, and height, and it also can go by percentage. So, yep, very easy. Next function, we talked about it already. It's the hide and unhide function. So you can hide an object by clicking the hide icon in its own menu, or you can use the taskbar. Next function is the bevel function. Self-explanatory. Then we have shell, so this will hollow out this shape. This can even do more than that. You can choose to remove one of the faces. So in this case, I'm going to remove the top face. And I've created this open box, so this saved me from making a Boolean operation. Next function is the surface texture. So you have a couple of surface textures to choose from. My favorite is the crosshatch because it makes it look like it's stitched. And next is the warp function. It's not really the most useful of functions, but somebody already spent the time and effort writing the code for it, so who am I to omit it? Next is the bend function. This just lets you bend the shape. You have 3 different axes to choose from, and it lets you bend it up to 360 degrees, so you can make a full circle out of it. And it's available in 3 different axes. Next is the twist function. This lets you twist the shapes like so. Again, you have 3 axes to choose from. And then we have the taper function. Again, same story, 3 axes. And now we get to the 2D sketch that I talked about. So you can just, I'm going to draw a random shape here, click enter. And the only thing you can do with it currently is to make it into a pipe, like so. Speaking of pipes, we do actually have a dedicated bent pipe generator. I think it's a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. We have a bunch of parameters to mess with. But yeah. Next function is the loft function, and it lets you create a continuous a cross section for two different shapes that have a different cross section. So I have this cube here and this cylinder, and I'll create the loft, and it looks like this. So this can be useful. Next function is the exploded view function. And before I talk about it, I just want to talk about the icon because some people told me that it looks like a tree. Well, it's actually supposed to be a nuclear explosion, and I've added these lines at the top. I don't know if you can see them. But yeah, so it's not a tree, it's a nuclear explosion. It's like a mushroom cloud. And to show you how it works, I'm going to quickly load this shape that I've made beforehand, before the video. And I'm going to select this shape, and I'm going to use the explode function or the exploded view, and you can see how you can visualize and impress your friends or your clients with these animations. Next is the snap function. So the snap function will reset the Z value or the height value. I should mention that we use the 3D printing convention here, so the Z axis is for the height. So it will reset the Z value to 0, so it will make everything that's selected be on the ground level or the floor level. And I'm going to quickly spawn a planetary gearbox to show you something. So I have this parametric planetary gearbox generator. We're going to talk about it later, but what I want to do now is I want to use it to demonstrate the next function, which is called the double snap function. And I'm going to decouple this planetary gearbox, and now it's decoupled into its individual components. And then I'm going to select all these components, 6 in total, and I'm going to click the double snap. So not only it sets the Z value to 0, but it also arranges all of the selected shapes into the smallest area that's suitable for 3D printing. And it lets you choose the minimum spacing, not the maximum spacing, but the minimum spacing. In this case, it's 10. So this saves you time when you want to export this. You don't have to manually arrange the shapes of the objects. And this button here is for loading. So everything that you save on this software will be saved locally onto your computer. This software is not connected to the internet, doesn't use any servers or anything like that. So everything gets saved on your computer, and only you would have access to your files. And it has and by default, it saves all of the saves into a specific folder that's a part of the program. And this is, if you click it here, you can access it. Next button is the save. I think you all know what that means. Import, export, and fast export. So fast export is something that we've added. And if you right click on it, you will see all of the different file types that are supported. And if you click fast export, instead of the program asking you each time what would you like the file type to be, it will just always export it in your pre-selected file type without having to ask you each time. So in this case, it's set to STL. What else did we not mention? This here is, so we mentioned this here. This is the coordinates box. I'm sorry, this is the coordinates box, and this is the dimensions box. And this here is the rotation box, so you can use it to rotate the the shapes in 3 different axes. Now, one other function that we have that's very new is an infill generator. So this is essentially just like 3D printing slicers. So we have, I think, 4 different infills to choose from: grid, honeycomb, triangles, and trihexagons. And you can choose the infill density, and you can change the dimensions. You can make it into a square or a circle. And this is useful for creating vents and whatnot. So these are the shapes here. So these are under basic shapes. For hardware shapes, we have a simple spare gear. So everything here is provided to you as a parametric generator. So you have all the parameters, and you can simply change some, just input whatever you want, and it would immediately generate that. So you have a spare gear, you have a helical gear, you have a herringbone gear, you have an internal gear, you have a bevel gear, you have a worm gear, rack, a planetary gearbox generator as we discussed, and you have a spherical gear, which is very cool and something unique to us, I believe. And I will be showing this in more detail in a later video, because you can make really cool things with it. You can make gears that can mesh together while the gears rotate in a joint. We will see later what that means. I'm going to now add 2 spare gears to show you another unique feature that we have. I'm going to select both spare gears, and I'm going to click on this belt generator. You have a smooth belt and you have a tooth belt generator. I'm going to choose the tooth belt, and you see how it generates 2 different belts, and it gives me a value here. So to quickly explain what this means, you cannot have a fraction of a tooth. You need to have a whole tooth. So depending on the distance between the gears, it could be that the distance is a little bit too big or a little bit too small. So this is why it gives you a centering advice. So here it tells you, for example, that you need to move the gears by 0.1 millimeters towards each other. You can ignore it when the value is this small, but sometimes it's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to only have various parameters here, including also the tolerance, because that depends on your machine too, on what material you're printing with. But I'm going to select generate, and you can see we get 2 different belts. One belt here, this is just a placeholder belt. It doesn't even have teeth, and it's just here for your CAD. But this is what you care about. This is what you will 3D print out of TPU or TPE. And yeah, and the same thing with a smooth belt generator. If you make pulleys, we also have springs. But these springs are really just meant as placeholders. You're not really supposed to 3D print these springs. This is also why I don't really have any real spring parameters, like the spring parameters. And we also have threads. You have a standard thread, which has the metric settings in it, so you can just choose and it will immediately generate it, or you can have a custom one. You can also have a knot, lead screw generator, and a lead screw knot. And you also have a jet engine section, but we're not going to talk about it in this video. And one more thing I will talk about quickly is with some shapes, like the cylinder, you have a sides count. So this lets you go from 12 until 128. And this is useful for creating dowels and whatnot. And also in the gears, you have something called bore diameter and bore sides. With the bore sides, you can go from 4 until 128. So you choose 4 or a low number like 6 or whatever if you want to have a spline. And you would choose 128, which is the smoothest surface, or like as circular as it can be, when you want it to rotate smoothly. I think that's it for this video. I hope this was at least somewhat useful. You can download a free demo for Spaghetti CAD. We don't require any payment information or anything like that. You will get to use, you will have full access to all the features except for the jet engine for 1 week. And then you can decide if you want to buy it or not. And I should also mention that we're doing things that very differently than most companies. The software is sold as a single purchase. We don't have any subscriptions or anything like that. And we don't require you to make an account. We hate accounts, so we don't even have the option to make an account. You know, most companies would force you to make an account so that they can spam you with the marketing material and sell your data and all that. We don't do none of that. Also, as I mentioned, the software runs locally on your device. It doesn't require an internet connection. All of your designs are saved on your computer. There is no option to send them over the internet or anything like that via the software itself. So only you have access to the designs. And yeah, a lot of CAD softwares, you know, they would force you to use their servers and force you to pay subscriptions. But any mid-spec laptop these days can really handle this, can handle a CAD software. You don't really have to have servers unless you're running very intensive animations or computations. So yeah, we will be making more videos about the features in more details. And if you're interested, you can check out our YouTube channel. So thank you for watching.